afternoon and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge, Ontario, to talk to you about video games.
Yes.
Again, back with the second half of our program. You know, the last episode was on the best games of 2022 so far, and that was until mid-October. This week, we're going to present to you some of the games that have yet to release. The rest of 2022, the ones we're most looking forward to, the best games that have yet to release in 2022. First game on our list is Harvestella, developed and published by Square Enix in collaboration with a studio called Livewire, excuse me. And this, believe it or not, is, I think, Square Enix's first foray into the farming sim genre.
Yeah.
Replete with all of the fucking JRPG conventions we know and love from Square Enix. Look at this shit, man.
It is Stardew Valley meets Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Square Enix's first foray into the farming sim genre, but from what I understand, my reading and research into this game so far, it's heavy on the JRPG elements.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it is.
That's right. The farming sim is sort of like a little bit side element.
Yeah.
Kind of like the kingdom building in Ni no Kuni, I imagine.
Yeah. Sort of like a back-end deal where you just farm and it's like a resource
The developer specifically mentioned like the farming and the crafting will make dungeon progress easier, and you can undertake all this stuff within your house. And look, here we see the girl farming outside. I don't imagine, though, there's much in the way of building or anything like that, like in Stardew Valley, or you know, that it gets as complex. But yeah, that's fine, man. I'm definitely down for the inclusion of these like light survival elements in more games. To me, you know, we've talked about this in the past, the sense of having like this home base, you know, even if you can't really do much in the way of cosmetic upgrades that you just kind of improve and build towards as the game goes on, it really adds something to the experience for me, right?
Yeah, I like it. Plus, it probably enables them to like minimize on just running around and finding all these resources out in the wild, shit like that. Some games feel like lately,
that's true.
In open world games, you're always just running around grabbing shit, as much as you can, right?
It's the Ubisoft effect there.
Kind of, this kind of makes it seem, you know, you head into home base a couple minutes early, and you do a few things, and then kind of.
I think back on
the next day,
you know, games as far back as fucking Assassin's Creed 2 and like this game called Overlord on the Xbox 360, which both had some pretty cool like light base building elements.
The demon bad guy.
That's right. Yeah, you have your tower and you add a new bed and a new this and that. Just
that's
like
cool.
In Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio had that estate there where, you know, as you collect weapons, they're upgraded and you can like use resources to finish the wings of the house. It's not very, you know, expansive in terms of the base building. So like, it's no like V Rising or Valheim, but it adds that sense of that, you know, you're playing like an RPG or something where you make forays out into the world and you have this corner to come back to.
Exactly. Like
Majula in Dark Souls. You
upgrade your shit, you spend your spoils in various ways. It's cool to build that up, right, and have that kind of like ownership, and that really makes you
loop, right?
Exactly,
that sense of
really gets you like immersed, I feel like. And I remember Assassin's Creed so much, even then I think into Brotherhood, when you unlock like your guys that you can send out to do missions in a similar way, right? Like that kind of stuff.
If I had to fucking articulate how it makes you feel, you know, I think back on playing games like Devil May Cry or God of War, the original ones, which are fine games, don't get me wrong, but you feel the sense that like you're putting them on like a glove and you're going to take them off after. It's like this short-term like contact you make with the characters or with your place in that world. You know what I mean? You punch in and you punch out within a couple of hours. Even the way the missions are formatted, it's just like a short-term
it's like the Call of Duty campaign or something, right?
You make a short-term tendency in the world. Even the ways you interact with the world are limited, and I find that including this kind of stuff, even if it's light on, you know, true customization or anything like that, or true creativity, like some of these games, like I would argue, like they fucking definitely have that element, right? Where, you know, if you can think of something, something to build, it really expands the game. Even if this is not like that, I think it really adds to the way in which you like adopt an identity in the world. You know, it really fucking enhances the dimensionality of that identity, right? Like you have different aspects to it. Its exhaustiveness increases.
It feels more full and alive. It's awesome.
That's right. Yeah, there's more form to it, more for your mind to inhabit, right? That's why it's
very easy to just totally lose yourself in it. It seems to be a sick blend of you know, a little bit of that farming sim element mixed in with basically like a JRPG with beautiful anime art style.
Exactly. Like with these bosses, like all these Square Enix like tropes and aesthetic with this element we're discussing right now. I think that's cool. And I'm very much looking forward to this. I don't know the intricacies of the story, but it's going to be cool to have that farming element serve dungeon crawling, and that's Harvestella. It's coming out soon.
On the Switch and the PC only.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, awesome.
Next on our list is the new Dark Pictures game. This is the fourth Dark Pictures game, if I'm not mistaken. There was House of Ashes, fucking Man of Medan, Little Hope, and now this one, which is called Devil in Me.
I haven't played any of them, but
they're great, man. We've talked, even just the last episode, we talked about Supermassive games because The Quarry was released this year as well.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's pretty cool that they're going to have 2 games out this year. This is published by Bandai Namco, which is also an interesting fucking thing. They do engage in American and European publishing, apparently.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the specificities of this. It looks to take place in some fucking dilapidated town or mental institution. I'm not really, I think going into a discussion of a game like this, actually, the particulars are not really what's at stake. It's better to just understand the format. And I think this game is in the style of games, initiated by fucking Quantic Dream with Heavy Rain and with
sort of movie style, decision based.
Exactly.
Not super heavy on the gameplay and the overall world or levels, but
exactly, gameplay is pretty much restricted to moving the character around the world and to quick time events. To aiming a gun potentially, in very rare circumstances. But
what was the other one? Until Dawn.
Until Dawn was also from Supermassive Games. Yes, they're really the 2 big purveyors of this. There was also that being rather Quantic Dream with Heavy Rain, with Beyond Two Souls, with fucking Detroit Become Human.
That's right.
They had a few of them. There was also Telltale Games who made the Game of Thrones game.
They did the Wolf Among Us or something,
that kind of stuff.
didn't they?
I think
Batman.
those games roughly fall into this template as well. And then there's Supermassive, who are probably the newest arrivals on this scene with Until Dawn in I think it was 2017 or 2018. But I played all their games except for House of Ashes. I haven't finished that yet.
Really?
Or started it rather. And I haven't finished The Quarry. And I really like all of the Supermassive games.
Yeah, you're a veteran here.
Yeah.
Eh?
I think that I mentioned this before, the Quantic Dream games have more of a fucking, more developed concept to them. I really like the tone and the world building better in those games, but these, for what they are, they're not going for that kind of shit, right?
Yeah, they don't even
serious thing.
They don't even seem like they're in the AAA space. I almost feel like sometimes
I think that's
they're
fair
AA or in between almost.
That's right. Yeah, at least in the tone, they're shooting for that cheap horror movie vibe, even though if it is high production values.
But exactly, I was gonna say it looks good enough to be like AAA, but
it's like Friday the 13th. This is going for Friday the 13th or for fucking that kind of shit.
Horror movie tropes, like a lot of that
Nightmare on Elm Street kind of stuff, those kind of horror movies, whereas the Quantic Dream games are supposed to be these thoughtful thrillers about the human condition and fucking artificial intelligence. But and check this stuff out. It's definitely
it
awesome
looks good.
I love, me and my wife, we play these together all the time when they come out. Yeah, it's a great experience to play with 2 people. And like I mentioned last time, they even added this multiplayer mode where you assign a character to each player, and when your turn comes around as that character, you hand the controller over. So
that's a sick way to get everybody involved. I like that too.
It's a great setup, cool concept. Again, I'm not really sure about the specificities of this one. What the fuck's going on here with some Saw-looking shit, but it'll be cool, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Dark Pictures, Devil in Me, coming out this month from Supermassive Games. That is in November. Next, Alex, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Oh my God, it's Pokemon. Of course it is.
Pokemon, what is it this time? Pokemon.
What is there to say?
I'm not gonna make another genital
joke. It's
Pokemon
Red and it's Pokemon Red and Blue, basically Violet and Scarlet.
All right, and what's going on in this? What's going on in Violet and Scarlet, man?
To be honest, of all the Pokemon games, this is the one I've said before that I don't know. I'm not super looking forward to it anymore. I feel like I'm burnt out a little bit, so I don't know much other than this basic framework of you being a student at this academy, and you take on assignments, which are basically missions, I guess.
So it's Pokemon 3 Houses then.
Sorry?
Pokemon 3 Houses.
Pokemon 3. Yeah. It's Pokemon Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Exactly. Nice. That's kind of what seems like going on here.
There's still right, that's a new thing.
Yeah, there's still gyms. You still get the 8 badges, probably take on the Elite Four. So that's cool. It still sounds like a very traditional Pokemon, just with some of the added gameplay elements and quirks from Pokemon Arceus Legends or whatever.
Sure.
Which we've spoken about as well.
Like the moving around in battle, or evidently not.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're not here. I don't know for sure, but basically that the battles take place on the overworld instead of a separate battle screen now.
I see.
It's all cohesive in one fucking thing, right?
They got this crystalline Pokemon shit.
Yes, they've added a new gimmick, which is turn your Pokemon into a crystal version.
I must say, if there's anything that I didn't like in these games, it's this gimmicky stuff. Everyone that I played, admittedly, it's not all of them recently, but even back when it was just Mega Pokemon, I was like, the fuck is a Mega Charizard?
Yeah, even that, I was never a fan of that either. I felt like it was too much. And then on one hand, they get rid of it so it's kind of just like a
Yeah,
gimmick
it's just
for each
throwaway.
game, which yes, it is throwaway, but I'm glad that they haven't at least like polluted the canon with all of that. Like imagine they
fair
add
enough,
them all in and then
No,
they
no,
just like
true,
all this
true.
stupid bloated bullshit.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like fuck with like one weird gimmick each time, which is like
Yeah,
gimmick in
whatever. I mean,
itself, right?
Bro, like I'm
But-
fucking frankly, like I'm not opposed to like new shit, like them adding this school or getting rid of the gyms.
Yeah,
even,
I
but
also
you
don't
know.
care for it either. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
don't want just gimmicky novelties that don't really fucking comport with the logic of the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's why. Like there could be a Pokemon game. Remember I told you that one? I always bring this up. That
Conquest.
Pokemon, yeah, the samurai
I
one.
already know.
It's in feudal Japan and fucking all this shit. Why can't you make a game like that? Or like the Gale of Darkness on
Yeah, I
fucking
heard that was
GameCube?
great too.
Like
and
it's cool to make new things.
I haven't played
but
that one. Like
Yeah.
for a Pokemon fan, I'm pretty pathetic.
You could make a
but-
turn-based Pokemon game with a totally different like theme, even a more fucking mature one if you wanted to,
Yeah.
right? And you know, you don't have to add fucking gimmicky
shit. I know.
right?
You know what? It exactly what you're saying. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't need it at the end of the day.
Of all of this, the
Can
least
survive
exciting
without
thing
it.
is Crystal. Why? It's so stupid. Why would they turn into Crystal? How are they
Yeah.
alive? You know what Crystal is, right? It's not fucking. You know what? It doesn't have a biological structure. Yeah.
Yes,
All right. Cool.
yeah.
All right. Now that we're out. All right. Anyways, that's cool.
That's the Pokemon universe for you.
Yeah,
But,
that's the Pokemon universe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm burnt out on Pokemon and not really looking forward to it. But I know at the same time I'm going to play it the day it comes out. So maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. It looks to have
The open world is nice. Look at this.
yes.
You see the draw distance on
in
it?
Sword and Shield. They added like the wild areas, and now this is like a big expansion on that. So the world
right.
is going to feel like a wild area basically at
Like
all
a big
times.
open world.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool, man.
We're
I
kind of
think-
getting towards some
That's nice.
pretty cool. Yeah, like
So it's pretty much a full-fledged JRPG on the same scale as something like Dragon Quest XI, right? Look at this.
I guess so. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I'm down for that, bro.
Yeah, then you even get your little bicycle there,
Yeah.
which is a Pokemon.
Really, like, it's not that I'm suspecting the mechanics in these games aren't bad. I always fucking thought they were some of the, you know, the best JRPGs on the market in terms
Yeah.
of how they're designed. But it's just
Yeah.
like the fucking, for me, my inhibition is in terms of the aesthetic. Like the universe doesn't just,
Yeah,
I can't like
that's
inhabit it in the same way. Like you know.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, it's definitely toned down from a lot of the other,
Yeah.
you know, animes and
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
stuff that we've gotten into that I sort of realized, you know.
That's why I want to
later
see
on
like a
in life,
different
but-
universe, like in the Pokemon universe, but it's just a different.
just like a totally. Honestly, Arceus Legends.
yeah,
If you play that, you might
Yeah.
like a bit of it. I don't think you'd
Yeah.
finish it, but.
yeah.
But nonetheless, fuck either way. Like this Violet and Scarlet Pokemon games are
Coming out.
this month, and
Still pretty world-class JRPGs, even if you're fucking burnt
Yeah.
out. And if it was your first one, I'm sure it would be a fucking great experience.
Yeah.
My kid's gonna grow up soon, and he's gonna play
he's gonna play some
his
of these
first
fuck,
Pokemon
right?
game. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Hey, where do
What
you
the
start 'em?
fuck?
Like, what the hell?
Oh, the new one, probably, right?
I guess.
Oh yeah. Imagine just starting on this. You'd be like, this is without all this baggage and cynicism of fucking 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
You'd be like fucking stoked, buddy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, more Pokemon. So definitely be jumping into that at the end of this year when it launches.
Yeah, man.
This one is in November, I believe. I will say Pokemon is November the 18th. Whereas the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, is also on the 18th, so same day as Pokemon.
A lot of
And
stuff.
Harvestella is at the beginning of the month, which is November 4th, which is this Friday. Wow!
Fucking Harvestella's
Dude,
this Friday?
Harvestella comes out this
Oh, good.
Friday.
I just placed an order for it, and the lady was like, you're fucking lucky. I only have a few left.
Oh, buddy, I
That's
don't
why.
even have to tell you what I want.
This is one I'm especially excited for. This easily, for me, qualifies as the game I'm most looking forward to for the
Yep,
rest of the year.
yep.
This is Evil West. It's by Flying Wild Hog Studios. I believe there's some veterans from the People Can Fly on there, the studio that developed Painkiller. They
Oh, yeah,
previously worked
okay.
on Trek to Yomi and
cool.
on Shadow Warrior 3. And this is their next game. Both of those games are pretty fucking sick. Trek to Yomi's coming soon. It's like this 2D samurai side-scroller. I'll show you later. This is probably their first full-fledged game in the AAA space, such as it is, with this kind of budget and graphics and shit like that. And it's set in some fucking alt history America in the late 1800s on the frontier, where Buddy, I think his name is Jesse Reitner, something like that.
Right here?
Yes, he's the son of the leader of this fucking vampire hunting organization that's attacked at the beginning of the game, instigating a journey across the open world, that the player gets to participate directly in. And it looks to be like, to me, I get Days Gone vibes. I'm thinking like, yes, I like these new IPs with these interesting open worlds, the flavor, especially here, of which we haven't seen since, what the fuck was that game on the original Xbox where you were a vampire hunter?
Oh my god.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
Dark, it was called Dark something. Anyways, we haven't seen this like, horror-esque, like Wild West shit in this perspective since that game on the Xbox. We'll probably try and include the name in the description because it was pretty cool. And since Evil West earlier this year. No, not Evil West. Excuse me.
West.
The Sebastian Colantonio game.
Oh my god. I know
Weird West.
Weird West. Yeah, I knew there was another one. Okay,
yes.
Weird West. Yes.
Weird West, which we forgot to mention in our last game, in our last video, actually.
Fair
but that's pretty cool. These two of these supernatural horror set in the West games in one year. But in any case, this reminds me directly of Days Gone. I'm super stoked for it. It's got some fucking Gears of War looking shooting,
I was gonna say
which
Gears
I love,
of War,
despite hating that franchise
awesome.
now. It's got some Souls-like dodges. It's got all kinds of crazy horror stuff going on,
I've always been a fan of like these. I really like the sort of alternate history, almost like steampunk style.
Same.
Like Resistance, Fall of Man, like just mixing it up with supernatural shit and like the real world and like during World War II or some shit, or in this case
that's
the Western, right?
Yeah, they
so
showcase
cool,
here
man.
in this trailer, like the rifles and shotguns and pistols you're gonna get to use. The shooting mechanics look tight and on point.
Yeah,
I really like to play these kinds of fucking shooters.
Yeah,
the rolling and the speedy mechanics.
Yeah, it looks like
stuff.
Remnant too. Remember Remnant?
Yeah, very much like Remnant. Yeah,
very similar combat,
which it was also an excellent game. But most of all, like the world here looks amazing, bro.
I can't believe this comes out. This is one of the ones that I can't believe it's coming out at the end of this year in is it November or December?
It's December.
I didn't even really have it on my radar there.
Nora,
we'll look it up quickly. It's right
until quite recently. Oh no, it's November 22nd.
November 22nd.
3 weeks from now.
The week after Pokemon. Oh, the Tuesday after Pokemon and Dark Pictures. Wow.
3 weeks from now, we're going to be playing Evil West, hopefully a few days before.
Crazy. Oh, man.
Very much looking forward to it.
Busy schedule coming up. Wow.
Yeah, look how beautiful it looks.
It looks great, honestly.
Look how awesome it looks to play. Look how crazy and cool the monsters look. It's an original IP. It's from practically an independent studio. I think they advertise themselves as independent.
What we say?
It hits all the boxes. They're not American,
Fair enough.
Yeah. Especially with open world games, I find that... I'm going to try and say this without being rude, but the ones that I haven't liked that recently have been by American developers, right?
Except for Days Gone.
Yeah, that's true. Days Gone. But I did like that one.
Another PlayStation game, of course.
maybe it was the... well, I was going to say the PlayStation ones, this was also a PlayStation game, so I don't really know. This is from a Polish studio. I'm most excited for that. The sensibilities will be different than the kind of stuff we get from the American games. The way human relationships are depicted will be different, despite this literally being set in America and the other ones being set in Japan or in, Norway or something like that. So
it's good times.
I'm very excited for it.
Yes, I'm down. Looks great.
Flying Wild Hog. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Looks great. Moving on now to another one that's going to be fucking very cool, which is Callisto Protocol by Striking Distance. Veterans of the Dead Space franchise behind this one.
Yep.
Fucking, I don't know what else to say other than it looks exactly like Dead Space.
We just watched the trailer and immediately it evokes like the atmosphere and the vibe of Dead Space.
Intentionally, I'm sure it does.
Oh, for sure.
Like even has the rig on his back.
Even this this camera angle, like the way he's walking, like Isaac.
Yeah.
It screams Dead Space, which is great. But it's also another new IP because obviously.
They're on a moon, just like in Dead Space. They were on the moon of Jupiter there, mining for some shit, and they found the fucking marker. That's probably what's going on here, too.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems to follow basically the similar Dead Space thing, though.
It has the body horror, too, like with the human bodies being transformed and fucking disfigured into disgusting configurations and...
Yeah, so what I was going to say is it's got like the grotesque enemies, but also what it seems like some robot enemies, too.
It looks
so
like there's some robots, too.
There's kind of a mix going on here.
Some pretty science fictional elements to this one.
Those robots looked like they reminded me of Metroid. Remember Metroid Dread?
Yes.
Where those things chase you? I forgot what they were called.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sick, eh?
This does look good. It looks very scary. Some intense environments. The characters traversing. Some fucking jump scares obviously built right into it.
Of course.
I'm fun when I play games. One thing I always do is I go on YouTube before I play something and I Google like the bosses in that game.
Yeah.
You notice when I send you videos of the game?
Oh, I know.
It's those?
Yeah. Yep.
I like to see that there's some fucking thought put into the character designs. For me, that fleshes out the world. And
yeah, of course.
That's why, like, just as with Evil West, this is so sick to look at.
Oh, yeah.
How cool is it going to be to see all the disgusting things in this fucking universe,
And it looks
all the horrifying monsters.
And
it looks
grotesque
fucking scary, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of this kind of game and this kind of horror, frankly. You know?
I mean, yeah, when they shut down the studio that made Dead Space.
Yeah, that was outrageous. I'm not going to play. I've already vented my frustration about the fact that I'm literally not playing the Dead Space remake. There's no way.
Fair enough. But we have this game. Why would you?
Why would you? Well, actually, why would you play Dead Space remake? Why? The guy who made Dead Space made another Dead Space.
Such a funny.
So instead, you're paying EA's like fucking imitation Dead Space. You know?
Yeah. Or these guys who actually made the original and then.
My God.
We're forced.
It's like if Tolkien was still alive and you went to watch Rings of Power instead of fucking reading his book. You know what I mean?
Terrible. Another great game though. The Callisto Protocol coming
later this year. That's in December, if I'm not mistaken.
That one is
from the developers behind Dead Space. Shit, we didn't even mention that it's a third-person shooter. Probably has survival horror elements. All of these things we can expect. I think it's almost redundant to even mention this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's Dead Space. If you don't know what Dead Space is, then I guess you could look it up. But
it's Dead Space-like.
Dead Space-like.
There you go.
It's December 2nd for this one.
Very soon too. Just a couple of weeks after. And the last one on our list for today, we only have 6 for you, but it's another one from Square Enix.
At the end of it seems to be the last game on this page that has an official release date on December the 13th. The last game we're going to get before Christmas, which is awesome because it's fucking Final Fantasy VII or Crisis Core.
Another Final Fantasy VII game, which is cool. But this is, now, you've mentioned that it's not a total remake of Crisis Core. It's just kind of like an upgrade, or what's the deal?
It seems like almost like an upgraded port. Like, I mean, it probably is remade. But
it doesn't look like totally fucking up to par. Like it's not like
exactly. It looks like almost like just an upported PSP game, right? You can see that it's not quite
like the treatment they gave to Final Fantasy 10 through 12, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So whatever that means, it's essentially a remake or literally a ported up version of Crisis Core, which is a PSP game, onto now the PC, PlayStation, whatever.
Something of a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Or
also, no, I believe it takes place beforehand.
Oh yeah, it was Zack. And you see him dead, and yeah.
So it's one game that I've played a little bit of on the PSP and haven't played much of it. So I'm happy to jump in and play the full game on a fucking modern console on the PS5. Looks like they bumped it up to make it look really good. But it's not up to the levels of 7 remake, which makes me think, what I said, like it's not a full-on.
It's pretty fucking.
It's pretty good though. Yeah.
Those faces look close to the 7 remake.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of
little things like the hair and this and that.
Yeah,
you can tell it's not.
It's a little bit of a lower spec, it seems, which is fine because it fits more, like the PSP game. It basically is. I'm sure it's.
Oh, look, you get to explore these nice areas of Midgard too.
Yeah.
That was a cool thing in the remake, eh? Where you got to see the nice areas up there for a few minutes, and you got to go to what's her name's house.
Go back down, I
like these expanded universe games, especially when they're made by the people who made the original. This is like a fucking proper entry in that lore, right?
Yeah, and otherwise you wouldn't be able to play it unless you're on the PSP, right? And it's interesting enough that it kind of had like an early version of the Final Fantasy VII remake combat, I feel like. Yeah. Which, because it was one of the first Final Fantasy games to ever have like real-time combat. It didn't have turn-based, and on the PSP, that was weird.
More like movement involved. Like 7 feels more rooted, whereas this one couldn't you like fly around? It was kind of like 15.
I don't. You know what? I don't even know because I haven't gotten too far in the game. I haven't beaten it. I haven't finished it. But I think
I remember some like fucking aerial combat.
Maybe, yeah. It's still like heavy. Yeah, it's also still like very menu heavy based shit like that. There's kind of like 7, but even more so. I think you just cycle through like the attacks you want to do, and you just smash the same button. But regardless, it's gonna be a pretty interesting experience to get a PSP game remade for modern consoles and PC.
It will be fucking exciting.
Which is fucking awesome because it's a game that I've been planning on playing at some point anyway. So to play it, easily in a nice upgraded version. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm a big believer in that too. Keeping your software technologically current.
Oh yeah.
Cum, physically manifest.
Yeah. That's like the big bang for the end of the year, I think, which, like I said, it seems like it's been a top-heavy year and now a bottom-heavy year. We're pleasantly surprised that all this shit is seemingly coming out of fucking nowhere. Like the Callisto Protocol. If you haven't seen a trailer of that we just showed, like, look it up and hear even the sound, the atmosphere, and
gonna be
everything.
something,
it's
man.
so fucking cool. I'm so excited now.
Think back on it. We got in this past 12 months, taking into account the stuff from the last video and this video, you know, by the end of 2022, we'll have had a fucking entry in all of the genres that we really appreciate, you know, and they'll probably have been from our favorite developers as well.
Yeah, it seems that way.
We
Yeah.
had a FromSoft game, we had multiple fucking Square Enix games, we had a Monolith Soft game there.
Yeah.
These guys here too, the Callisto Protocol guys. It's a bunch of stuff that is really worth appreciating this year, you know? Had a new survival game with V Rising, had fucking this survival horror stuff, got a new open world game, man. Oh. The list goes on and on.
There's
all these
been
JRPGs, more than we can
more
even fucking ever play.
JRPGs. Yeah,
You know
there's
the
a ton.
JRPGs Square Enix released this year that are worth playing? Look at this. By the end of the year, they're going to have Strangers of Paradise, Harvestella, Divine Force, the Star Ocean game, Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Triangle
Core, yeah,
Strategy,
Triangle
Dealfield
Strat.
Chronicles.
Lots of stuff, buddy.
That's a lot of games,
stuff.
man. A lot of
Good ones,
JRPGs,
too.
and they're
Good
pretty
ones,
good,
yeah.
yeah. Solid entries in the genre. And it's Souls-like. Their first foray into the Souls-like,
Oh, yeah.
which I still haven't played.
Yeah, it's okay. I still
easy
want to
mode,
play it,
like,
but it's different.
I think after Elden Ring, I'm fucking a little bit.
That might be a problem,
Conked out
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
taking it easy with the Ghost Recon there.
Yeah, that's sick, though.
But I suppose that's it for today.
Yes,
Really
yeah.
looking forward to these games. We'll be back next week, I guess, with Harvestella.
Harvestella, hell yeah.
We'll have played
I wanna
a bunch
jump
of it.
into that right away.
Yeah, immediately I'm going to play
Sick.
that too. Just test it out, fucking try and stream a little bit of it, and let you guys know how my farm is going. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Yes.
Play some video games.